What is going on, everyone? So today I have on Sarah, who I've been following for quite some time. Really enjoy her content and tips. She sells on both Amazon and Walmart with very impressive numbers, and I'm excited to pick her brain today. Sarah, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, long time coming. I've been speaking with you on Instagram for quite some time, and I just never. I knew I wanted to do an interview with you. I never got around to asking you, and our schedules finally
Yeah,
aligned.
that part's hard for sure.
So I think a lot of people kind of know about you, but could you just give a quick introduction to the viewers about yourself?
Yeah,
Things like how long you've been selling and the platforms you sell on.
definitely. So I started Amazon FBA in 2019, and I was just a stay-home mom. I was looking for a side income. I had no idea that you could sell on Amazon as a third party, and kind of took off running when the pandemic hit and all of that good stuff. And then I started Walmart in 2021, and I was kind of flipping my bad buys from Amazon. Nothing huge. Did a little bit during Q4, but last year Walmart took off for me. So I've
Right.
kind of leveled out. I'm kind of doing the same on both platforms. We'll see what happens in the future, but that's where I'm at right now.
Nice. Yeah. I think the amount of people I've spoken with, and it's always that COVID time that kind of catapulted most of people's online selling is
Definitely.
uh, it's compelling, and it's telling too, because a lot of people who did sell on during that COVID time online, they're still selling today. At that time I was actually more into like reselling shoes and stuff, right?
Oh,
And
nice.
but it was
Mhm.
still kind of online, right?
Mhm.
And then a lot anytime you're on the online selling space, you kind of see a little bit of bits and pieces of Amazon all the time. And then
Yes.
some I can't recall who posted, but I had a buddy who was more into it than I was, and kind of compelled me to start. And then I got started.
Love
Um,
it.
what was it exactly that compelled you to start?
So I actually came across the whole concept in a Hustle Buddies post. So I started learning through Hustle Buddies, the Facebook group.
Oh,
What
okay.
I liked so much about it back then was it was right when he created the group. So everyone was brand new and we were kind of figuring this out together. But there
Okay.
were a lot of other stay home moms in that
Uh,
group.
uh,
And for me, we just connected right away. And that was huge. That was a huge jump for me. Being able to work around my kid's schedule and see the proof of concept from Nate of what he was doing. So that was motivating enough for me because I wanted to stay a stay home mom. I had just come home from work. So
oh,
like,
okay.
that was my motivation to be able to
Yeah,
stay
yeah.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's a
still am,
blessing too. Um,
definitely.
yeah, it's a lot of I can't remember the Discord group. I joined a group back in 2021, 2022 as well for strictly Amazon. Flipseek. Flipseek was the group. I don't know
Oh,
if
yeah,
you've
I've heard
heard
of
of it.
that. Yep.
Yep. And then they were always like the prime Amazon selling group at that time when I was more so in shoes, and I used to see their group. And I ventured in there for a little while, then didn't really take it seriously until about 6 months after. Um, but I think Hustle Buddies I think Duke does Amazon. I think he
Oh,
mentioned
Jonathan. Yeah.
Jonathan. Yeah, he
Yep.
mentioned Hustle Buddies as well. So were you on the group together?
I don't know when Jonathan started. I think it was a little after me, but yeah, eventually we were all kind of in there together. I think a lot of people that started in the RA space
Okay.
kind of started in that group because that's what he was doing. So we kind of
Mhm.
all learned RA. And to this day, I'm still mostly RA. I'm trying to switch into OA as my schedule has gotten crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, we've all done RA throughout the years. And I think that was where we all started. Good
So
times back then.
yeah, it was great. It was great back then. More of a demand back then too,
Yes.
and I don't know. I guess it was always kind of saturated, but just demand was insane because everyone was buying online.
Right. Yep.
Um, so
Yeah.
I think you kind of alluded to this already, but I guess what compelled you to start was that you were a stay at home mom, or you left your job and you had a new was it a newborn baby or
No, I had an elementary and a middle schooler at the time.
okay, okay,
Yep, they
gotcha.
get busy as they get older, they get really busy, so it was really hard to shuffle working full time and being there for all their events, so
Okay, and then during COVID, did they get to the phase where they had to take online classes, right?
yes, gosh, that was hard.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, I can
Yeah, so
imagine.
then you're juggling
Yeah.
homeschooling with, sourcing. That's tough.
So were you getting all your information from Hustle Buddies? Or is there other
No,
or was there courses that you took?
I never took a course. I did a
Mm,
lot of research, on YouTube, which
no.
back then, before the big pandemic, there wasn't a lot of information out there like there is now. You can
Yes,
find information for anything, but even like ungating, it's so simple now. But
yes,
back then, it was this huge secret, and
right.
you'd get kicked out of groups if you asked, "How do you ungate Nike?" Like that was the
Yeah.
thing.
I,
Um,
when I joined Flipseek and I saw like all their ungating guides, it felt like I was like gotten a gold mine. You know what I
right.
mean? Because I thought it
Yes.
was so difficult. You know?
And it's just so not. So that's interesting. But my biggest growth was forming a mastermind with some other sellers. We kind of learn together, and as you learn, you share, and then they share what they're doing. So collectively, you can really accomplish a lot with all of that different information. So
Right.
that's kind of where I learned the most.
And it's probably more important in those early stages because there wasn't a plethora of information there is now.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah,
that's
for
awesome.
sure.
Okay, so I think you kind of mentioned it earlier. So, what is your primary business model as far as Amazon FBA goes? Is it FBM? I know you said you do a lot of RA. Do you still ship those out to a fulfillment center, or do you usually merchant fulfill those?
We do a lot.
Mm,
So with FBM specifically, we do that from we have a little warehouse. I still do FBA. I love FBA. Most of our items are FBA, but as far as sourcing goes, I do a lot of RA, but I've been transitioning to OA. So I'm probably about maybe 50-50 now, with my goal to be all OA.
okay.
It's just easier for me because I have all these other platforms that I'm doing and communities that I'm running and all this other stuff. So
Yeah.
being able to be OA gives me freedom of time. I
Right.
love RA margins. They're amazing, but it's your
Right.
time.
It's not even just for me. I don't do nearly as much RA as I used to. I'm pretty much like 90% OA. Um,
Nice.
However, I've found myself kind of gravitating a lot through FBM than OA as of late.
Oh, wow.
It's usually the things I'll merchant fulfill is usually like things that are worth it, like smaller items
Sure.
with higher value.
Mhm.
Like a lot of
Yeah.
vitamins and stuff like that. Mainly because I've noticed a lot of these listings when there's a sale, it's almost not even worth it to send it in because by the time it gets checked in, it's already saturated and the price is tanked.
Yeah.
It's
There's
almost
truth
like
to that.
if you really want to profit, make it worth your while, just FBM, right?
I
So
think that's probably a benefit to RA too is not everyone has that clearance sale that you're
right.
hitting, where OA, we all have the same sale. It's just a matter of finding the ASIN. So
Right, right, and some of the OA items too, like, they're not just sales. Those are, like, my actual replans where I'm not really worried about the price tanking, is those consistent ones that aren't on sale. If anything, if they get on sale, I'm kinda concerned, you know?
yeah, sure. Someone's gonna find it.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so, as far as RA, how do you find the time to do that? Because honestly, most people I speak with, they are kind of more away from RA, right? They kinda go towards OA because of the time commitment. So
Mhm.
how are you able to balance, RA with everything else that you got going on?
That's always been something I've struggled with.
Yeah.
Back then when I
Well, but
first
no, wait,
started.
let me stop you. What
Okay.
percentage are you RA?
I'd say probably 50-50 right now.
Okay, okay, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Um, so back when I started, when I would drop my kids off to an activity or they were in school or something, I would source constantly while they were in their activity or school.
Okay.
And that would take me to other cities too, because they both did sports. So when they were at a football something or other, I would go and source new stores.
Hmm,
Today, fast forward, I have to schedule it out. So say Tuesdays is my sourcing day, then I'm going to
mhm,
go out from 9 to 5 on Tuesday and hit the same stores that I know I can find items at.
okay.
um, for me, after all these years, I've made really good manager relationships and connections.
There you go.
So RA for me looks different than what RA would look like for a new seller.
Right.
These managers will text me and say, "Hey, look what I've got. Do you want it?" Yes, I
Wow.
do, or no, I don't. And then I just go pick it up. So
Nice.
that's changed for me a lot. And part of my growth was definitely due to those connections with managers for sure.
So you were probably pretty transparent with them when they asked what you were doing, because I'm sure
Oh,
you were
yeah.
kind of there for a while, and
Yep.
you started talking to them, right?
Yes, it's a slow friendship, but eventually, yeah, they wanna move this stuff out of their stores,
Right.
and I'm willing to do that for them, but yeah, it's just a friendship, and then it becomes great for both parties.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, if you're a new seller and you're watching this, it's going to take some time for sure to have that kind of relationship. I'd imagine
Yeah.
at first, how long did it take before you got like that first like relationship at a store?
I mean, showing your face consistently over a couple months,
Yeah.
and I would go weekly and always be kind, clean up after yourself. I've
Yeah.
seen resellers that go through the aisles and they trash it.
Yeah.
So if your goal is to kinda get on that manager's good side so they'll let you in the back room,
Yeah.
clean up the aisles while you're in them. Return the carts. That's huge to, specific stores. So
Right.
little
So
things go a long way.
So talk me through that, like that first conversation. Like, would they first just they see you with the abundant amount of clothes or abundant amount of like items, and they ask straight up, like, "Hey, are you reselling these items?" Or
Yeah, most of them do. They know.
okay,
They understand what
yeah, they're
reselling
fine.
is, especially at a place like Ollie's, say.
Yeah,
You're gonna show up consistently weekly with a cart full of stuff. Eventually, they're gonna say, "Where are you selling this?" Or, "What are you doing with this?" And,
yeah,
"Oh, I flip it on Amazon," or whatever
yeah,
it might be. And they're like, "Well, I've got more of that in the back. Do you want some?" And,
yeah,
"Yes, I do." I mean,
right.
sometimes I couldn't even profit off of what they were suggesting, but I did it just to kinda get my foot
Oh
in the
yeah,
door and
yeah,
show them that I was willing to help them as well.
right,
So it's just like I imagine it's just like working with a wholesale,
hmm,
rep. No
right.
different. You're building that relationship. Even if you're not making a ton of money at first, eventually in the long run, that will pay off.
Right, right. It's a mutual benefit. It's
Yeah,
almost
for
like,
sure.
yeah, they're a sales rep, and you might take
Mhm.
some L's to help them out here and there, but
Right.
overall, you guys are both benefiting from it. So
Definitely, yeah.
awesome, awesome. So, what is you've kind of touched upon it a little bit, but what is your most preferred category to sell through Amazon FBA or FBM?
So, beauty was my preferred category for the longest time.
Mhm.
With all the brands that are getting restricted, I'm having to step outside my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at shoes and clothing a little bit more. I like household. I love I love shopping at like Lowe's or Home Depot and looking at, those items that are I guess what would that be considered? I don't even know what category that's considered to be, but
Mhm.
like knobs for
Your tools, some
yeah, I don't know what Amazon calls it, but
yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah,
There is a like tools, we've sold so many tools,
yeah.
and I feel like people aren't looking there.
And people
So
don't return those kind of tools either for the most
mm-mm,
part, you know?
no. You get a lot of businesses that order that kinda stuff, so they'll order
Right,
more than one, which I
right.
love that, and, like, tools would be something we FBM because it's so heavy.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of FBM tools, but yeah, like Home Depot and Lowe's, when they have that, like, buy one, get one free or buy this saw and you
Mhm.
get a battery, you can do a lot of damage with those sales.
Yeah. No, and I agree with you. I think, for me, it used to be actually shoes because I was so comfortable selling shoes because I was reselling shoes before Amazon.
Sure.
But for me personally, now I won't even touch a shoe if it's not at least like 40-50% because I was just getting torched with returns,
Yeah,
early
no
on.
thanks.
I will say apparel wasn't as much, but you would think apparel would be just as bad as shoes, but shoes was just much worse.
It's
And I'll still sell shoes now, but one of my like transition periods was really stepping away from shoes and kind of getting out of my comfort zone as well, and actually stepping into like beauty and supplements, vitamins, and things that were just like smaller but still had
yes,
high value because you have those
yes.
low shipping fees and whatnot. Um, to just kind of respond to what you were saying, like beauty, yeah, a lot of brands that have been selling for a while, they're getting gated, restricted, even worse.
Restricted, like
Yeah,
red restricted,
yeah,
so
yeah.
the
I
landscape's changing.
there is still, like, just an abundant amount of beauty where
Oh,
you'll
yeah.
find some new, like, low-key ones that may
Mhm.
not have as many offers
Yep,
as your bigger ones that are getting gated. Um,
definitely. So I still love beauty. That's most of our sales is beauty still.
yeah, and then households and those kind of
Mhm.
things are also I think some of them are non-returnable, right? So that always helps. And see, that's another thing I like FBM is those non-returnable items, there's no you can make the exception or you don't have to make the exception. Whereas
Hazmat, love hazmat.
yeah, yeah, but whereas like, well, I'm saying just there's certain things that aren't hazmat that are not the customers aren't able to return it, like just those what is it? I think lotion stuff like that. I know vitamins for sure. I'm not sure about lotion
Okay.
stuff, but
Yeah, you never know with Amazon too because I've definitely gotten returns on lotion, but
if
yeah,
you
I see
FBA
what
it,
you're saying.
yeah, if you FBA it, they'll go and like just replace it and everything. I'm just like,
Oh,
you
I know.
this is
That's
literally non-returnable.
yeah.
It's so anyways, okay, so, I know you said you do 50% RA and you do 50% OA. So can you just walk me through how you do evaluate a product and you determine if you'll sell it on a listing? Maybe it's ROI, maybe it's other kind of criteria?
Yeah, so well, with OA, it's a lot easier because you have so much data in front of you.
Right.
Keepa, if you're not using Keepa, you have to be using Keepa.
Mhm.
But I don't necessarily look for drops or anything like that. It's the movement in the graph.
Mhm.
And my ROI I used to be like anything under 40%, I'm not going to touch it, right?
Uh-huh.
But now if there's an item that's selling, 1,000 times, if I could get my hands on 200 of those and it's only making $3 a piece, then I'm going to sell those all day long because
Right.
I know the volume's there.
Right.
So when I'm looking and analyzing something, it has to do with volume and how easily I can replenish that item.
Mhm.
And I'll usually start with a test. And if it sells quickly, I'll buy, a little bit more. And then by then, I'm usually comfortable going all in and getting as much as I can.
Right. Okay. So I know it's not like black and white. It's really nuanced, but is
Yeah.
there, you said 40, is that kind of what your number is? Or is it more like the actual profit
No.
amount? Because me personally, uh, like we'll just throw out 30 to 40%, but lately, like with all the fees, if it's not at least like $4, $5 profit, I kind of tend to shy away from it. But
Yeah. It definitely depends on the
I should
cost.
probably step forward into it just to help my sales, and profit is still profit, right?
Hmm. Yep.
But with the fees and everything that's coming in, I've been trying to raise my ROI, but you can only raise it so much if you're fully
Mhm.
OA like me. So
And as you scale too, it gets harder to raise that ROI because
yeah,
it's more
yeah,
about volume than it is
yeah.
individual products.
And that's why I was kind of speaking to you is you do what do you say your sales volume is now on a monthly basis on Amazon?
Well, right now, usually like 70 to 80,000. We've
Oh,
stepped down because we're doing Walmart. I've really focused to Walmart. So
okay, smart.
yeah, I've put a lot less of my time into Amazon,
Okay.
but I am in the process of training some virtual assistants that are helping me with OA because I want it to be that much more streamlined.
Right.
So I wake up, they have a list for me, and then I do my buying, and then I flip to Walmart.
So is RA also for Walmart purposes?
Most of my RA now is almost all Walmart.
1 second here. So yeah, I was gonna say that's me shying away from a $3 profit, $4 profit is probably why I haven't scaled as much. Like I've found like a comfort zone essentially, and
Sure.
I've stayed in that comfort zone just because I have so much going on as well. But I've really tried to make a concerted effort to push that boundary of 40 because I do about 40 to 50K, and I want
Nice.
to really push it up. But at the same time, like I do want to start experimenting more with Walmart. Right now, I just been FBMing whatever I have at the house, but it wasn't because
Yeah.
I intended to sell it on Walmart. And we'll go more into Walmart because I do have a lot of
Sure.
questions for you about Walmart.
Okay.
Um, okay, so what are your? I know you when you're doing RA, there's stores that you already hit, and you say you have these manager relationships. But as far as OA, what kind of sourcing methods do you do?
So I'm relying heavily on my VAs right now to kind of alert me
Yeah.
to what sales are happening.
Okay.
I also subscribe to one leads list. So
Okay.
I look at that every morning, not to buy what's on the leads list, but to kind of use that as a rabbit trail for
Mhm.
coupon codes and things like that.
Okay.
And then I've built up, a list of replens. One of my VAs helped me build a database.
Okay.
So every time I go to a specific website, I can search that website and it gives me a list of ASINs that I've bought from them. So there's
Mhm.
like 20,000 ASINs in this database that we've created. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm kind of resourcing using what I've already found or what leads lists have found, things like that.
So this database is essentially all the items that you've sold in the past that you've had in your tuck, or
Some are just off of leads lists that
oh,
we've
okay,
loaded
okay.
in there. So anything that has been on Amazon with a profit in the past is in that database.
Nice, nice. So in like 6 months down the road, you can just go back and check,
Yep. We
or
add to them all the time. Yep.
so how many VAs do you have? Can you tell me kind of your system that you got going
Sure.
on as far as who adheres to what task in your business?
Yeah, so I have one full-time, well, they're all full-time. My first VA, I actually brought him on. It's been over a year. He
Mhm,
was only doing Walmart. And
mhm.
then about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I hired two new VAs who were only doing sourcing for Amazon.
Okay.
Now they source for Amazon and Walmart. And then
Nice.
I just brought on a fourth VA who is doing wholesale sourcing for Walmart for me. So
So
I
so
have
you don't
four.
have any like that, just mostly admin stuff? You do all
The
the admin stuff?
first VA, my lead VA is all admin.
Oh, okay.
He reviews all the leads from the other sourcers, but they just source. So I have 3 VAs that are just sourcing and then one that runs my Walmart business and reviews leads.
Okay, so you're it kinda sounds like you have a lead VA who's like a manager,
Yes,
essentially,
very
who has
much.
most
Yep.
experience.
Yeah.
How long has he or she been working for you?
For me, that's the one that's been about a year and a few months.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good relationship. He's great with spreadsheets, which I'm not, so we complement each other well.
So who does like your bookkeeping, not your bookkeeping, but inputs like your cost of goods and things of that nature?
So I use Bench. As my business as a whole, they take
Uh,
care of all of my profit and loss. But
oh,
my VA also does profit and loss for Walmart and Amazon separately
nice.
each month.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, I found above all my actual leads VAs, the one that I have just doing all admin work, like she does the cost of goods, inventory, like she
Sure.
uploads all inventory to one stop. She's probably like the most worthwhile to me just because she saves so much time
Very
over
much.
the ones that actually find me like profitable items. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Um,
sure.
I was always so focused on getting like finding VAs who were really good at finding leads and whatnot. But once I found a VA who just did all my admin stuff, I felt like that was such a game changer because now I
Oh,
had more
yeah.
time to also help and look for
Yeah,
leads.
you have more time to source, which is
Right,
how you make the money.
right,
Yeah, VAs are completely worth it. And yeah, like you said, an admin VA has changed my whole world. Like,
right. I bet. I bet.
yep.
So let me transition over to since we're speaking about sourcing and whatnot. What tools do you use to source? I know you mentioned Keepa. Is there anything else that you use?
Yeah, so well, it depends, OA versus RA. If I'm RA, I scan with, Scan Power,
Scan
and
Pal.
they
Okay.
also do our listing creation.
Okay.
So I run all of our, shipments through them, and then also using that for Walmart now. But for OA on Amazon, I use RevSeller
Okay.
and Keepa. I have my VAs and oh, for repricing, I use Seller Snap.
Nice, nice. So I use
Simple.
what's funny is I use Buybot Pro for my like research analyzer and whatnot,
Oh, okay.
but most of my sourcing is really just Keepa, like
Mhm.
reverse Keepa,
Yep.
store and whatnot. It used to just be storefront stocking and whatnot, that that kind of stuff. But
Sure.
I found that after a while, like that's still really profitable. But
Yes.
after you know the brands and whatnot, if you just
Mhm.
reverse Keepa and you know where you're looking for as far as because you're reverse engineering what you'd be looking for in a storefront, right?
Definitely.
You
Yep.
you already know the type of keeper graph you're looking for. You put that bad boy on the
Yep.
reverse lookup, and you find your brands.
Yeah.
And that's been how I've
Storefronts.
been found these like low key like beauty brands I was telling you about.
Sure. It makes perfect sense. I
Yeah,
think storefront stalking is really good for sellers that are new,
yeah,
just to get an idea of what moves, what sells, because, well, at least for me, I suffered
mm,
from analysis paralysis for like my first year
right,
on Amazon. But when I figured out I could look at other people's storefronts, it's like, oh, I have access to that. That's
yes.
so simple. Why didn't I think about that? So,
Right. Yeah, and over time, when you get good at finding these various products, storefront stocking can get monotonous, right? So
sure.
it's
Yeah,
always good to get your VA to delegate to doing that. But
definitely.
that's why that Keepa reverse lookup on Keepa is so
Yep.
advantageous because if you
Yep.
know what you're doing, as far as you know what the graphs you're looking for, right?
Yep.
So, but if you're a beginner watching this, definitely storefront stock it first, and then you can kind of transition your way to Keepa, reverse Keepa, and whatnot.
Yeah. Keepa does so much.
Yeah,
So much.
and you can get a lot of practice with, like, detecting IPs and stuff like that
Yes.
on Keepagraphs by
Yep.
going to storefronts and
Yeah.
whatnot.
We do
Uh,
use IP alert. I forgot about that one.
so, I used to have IP alert. These days, I just kinda do the quick checks, and it usually works for me
Oh, yeah.
if there's not a brand on the listing. Sometimes it's tricky, though, because a brand might not be on the listing, but he might be on another product listing. It was just not that brand
Yeah.
specifically, and then
Definitely.
you
Mhm.
can get caught up that way. I've been caught up that way. But
Yeah.
it's kinda like as long as you're buying from a trusted place, you can submit your invoices.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
still sell on items on ASINs that IP alert comes up on if I
oh, yeah.
don't see any reason not to, but I do
Uh,
like the meltable, especially for newbies.
yeah,
That alert and then the generic alert has saved me a lot of time.
right,
Like, "Oh, there's that alert. It's
right.
generic. Moving on."
Yeah. See, so Buybot Pro also has, the IP radar and stuff, but I'm not
Nice.
sure if it has the same kinda database that IP Alert has. But IP Alert is also just basically, research input, right, that
Yeah.
other
Yep.
sellers have given them pretty much, right?
Yep.
And yeah, I know I was telling you this earlier that I try to stay away from brands that are on other ASINs, but not the one I'm looking at, but I'll still sell on that listing.
Yeah.
As long as that brand's not on there, I'll sell on it.
Yeah.
And someone who I like me who has gotten like a lot of IP complaints and I've been able to fight them, like
Yes.
I'll go back on a listing and look at it and it's just like straight staircase on that offer
Yes.
account. So it's
The
like
cliff.
I know what I'm looking for as far as a keeper graph. So,
Mhm.
but either way, a tool like IP Alert is amazing, and just any sort
Especially
of
for
software like
newbies.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you didn't mention Repricer. What do you use for Repricer?
Seller Snap. That's what it's called, right? Yeah, Seller Snap.
Okay, nice, nice.
I've had them for a few years. I've tried other repricers, but it works for me. I like
Okay.
to just set it and forget it.
Have you heard of Profit Protector Pro?
Yep, I've tried them.
Okay. So I
They're
use
good too.
them. They're really good. And what I
Yep.
like is they connect to so the Chrome extension connects to
Yes.
Profit Protector Pro. So I can
Yep.
just what I do is I'll have my ASIN that I'll find on a listing or whatever, and then I think most extensions link to a spreadsheet, right? So
Yep.
I'll click that spreadsheet that my VA sees, then I'll send it over to the repricer, and you'll set it up for me.
I loved
Um,
that extension when I tried it. Like, that
yeah.
was super convenient.
Is now you say your listing analyzer is RevSeller, right?
Yep.
Do they have like a Google spreadsheet
Yes.
export? Okay.
Yep.
I think most have it now. It's pretty
Yeah.
essential in my
Yeah.
opinion, especially if you have
Oh, I love
VAs
it.
and you want to communicate with them, right?
Yep, for sure.
Uh,
My VAs use that. They have it on their computers, and then we just have a spreadsheet, and then I click approve, and it moves over to a buy sheet. Like, it's all
Nice.
automated. It's super helpful.
Heck yeah. Okay, so we talked about uh, your transition, right? How did you go from that 0 to 20K, then 20 to 50K, and now where you are right now? What
That
was
was a long time ago.
you what?
Um, yeah, so well, it's different for us that went through the pandemic because,
Mhm.
I started and there wasn't a lot of information, right? So I literally started scanning aisles in Walmart. I would start at one corner and work my way all the way down the aisle.
Yeah.
But then when the pandemic hit, there was suddenly all of this need.
Mhm.
And having friends in the space too, like I mentioned, you can alert each other to all these trends. So thinking back now, like the pools, if you sold
Yeah.
pools, like that was something that was so easy to chase. I
Yeah.
love the chase.
And the chlorine or
Oh,
whatever,
the
like
chlorine was
yeah.
so good. So, like, these little things that were from the pandemic helped boost, right?
Yeah.
And then it rolls your cash, gives you more capital to work with, and it just became a snowball from there.
Right.
Squishmallows, oh god,
Oh,
thousands of
wow.
squishmallows I've
Right. Right.
sold. So, yeah, all those trends, really
Yeah.
helped me scale from 0 on up, and then as you buy and you build those relationships, it just keeps rolling.
Okay. Okay. So that pandemic, so that was 2021, right? So that
Mhm.
first year, would you say you went from 0 to like 20, 30K the first year? Or did
So
it take a while?
it took a while. What
Mhm.
happened, I opened my account in September of 19,
Okay.
and I mentioned it really briefly, but I suffered from analysis paralysis. So,
Right,
like,
right.
for those first, I don't know, like 7 months, I just couldn't put my money into the platform. I
Yeah.
was afraid, right? We
Right.
didn't have a lot. So I was doing like 5,000, dollar months. If I hit 10, it was like, yes.
Right.
Um, but then we went on a vacation, we came back, and I was like, if I don't hit this, then I'm gonna have to go back to work. And
Uh-huh.
so that motivation kind of lit the spark for me. And that's when I jumped in and started going to stores consistently. That consistency is what helps you scale.
Right.
Um, and right from then, I ended the year at like 125,000. During Q4, I did 125,000, and for me, that was all the proof I needed. Just
Right.
started jumping in from there. So,
And also when you first start, like I think it takes a while for you to understand that volume is the main game. So when you look
yes.
at
Oh, yeah.
when you see like when you first start and you see, okay, I just make $4 on this product. I just make
Yeah.
three
You're like, "No,
dollars.
thanks."
It really takes a lot of information given to you. And that's why I think sometimes it's good that people maybe invest in a course. I didn't either. I've been always like totally against courses. Like
Yeah.
I'll just splurge YouTube and get as much information as possible.
Same.
So I don't know. Uh,
But it saves you time,
it
and
does.
time is money.
Yes,
So,
it
you just really
depends on
gotta
what you have.
decide.
If you have money, but you don't have time, if
Yep.
you have a lot of time, you don't have money, yeah, just make your best investment off
Yep.
that. But
For sure.
definitely purchase a course from someone genuine because there's a lot of disingenuous people out there, especially on YouTube. And
Definitely.
there's a disparity in the number of disingenuous sellers on arbitrage and private label. And private label, they're everywhere. They're
See, I haven't jumped
bad
into that at all.
because most of the people are in private label. You're assuming they have more money, right? Because you got to buy so much at first
Sure.
and whatnot. But there are a lot of disingenuous sellers in private label because that's where I started was private label,
Oh,
and
you started there.
yeah,
Wow.
I did. And then so I knowing now, like they were saying the most egregious information, just kind of appeasing to your emotions. When you first start, you want to hear those buzzwords. At least
Yeah.
a lot of people that come on, they want to hear those buzzwords like financial freedom and those
Right.
kind of words, and that's how they get
Yep.
you. I think they still use those words in arbitrage, but in arbitrage, again, you start off with like look at these products. Okay, I make $4, $5, so it's
Yeah,
different arbitrage,
it is. I think
but
it's important to get involved in communities like
yes,
Instagram and Twitter and all that
right.
because quickly you can figure out who's legit and who's not.
Yes, yes, but a lot of people, it's amazing to me because a lot of people will not have not done that, or they don't even believe that there is a community. Like when you
Right.
first start, you don't know there's a community of a certain,
Right.
branch,
Yep.
until you start, going on Instagram finding them,
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so okay, so we went over the tools, so and went over how you transitioned, and now you've transitioned to Walmart, right?
Yeah.
Um, okay. So before we move on to Walmart, I want to ask, is there any other systems that you have in place to boost your Amazon business that you could advise a beginner?
I think at the beginning, like I mentioned a minute ago, consistency. And that doesn't just mean sourcing every day, but doing something for your business every day. Consistent shipments. It's different now with the fees, but back then, if you could send in a shipment a week, even if you didn't hit that, I want 100 items before I send it in, still send it in, flip your
Mhm.
money and get that proof of concept. That was really big for me, just staying on a schedule and making it a business, not just, a hobby. So
Right. So is there some sort of spending goal or just a spending system that you would advise a new seller?
that's gonna change depending on what your budget was. Back then, I had $500 and that's what I started with. Would I
Mhm.
do that now? No.
Yeah.
I lucked out again because of the pandemic, so
Mhm.
that helped me grow quickly.
Mhm.
Um, but now it's really gonna depend on what your goals are. Some people only wanna make enough money to pay a car payment a month, and
Yeah.
that is awesome for them.
Yeah.
Some people wanna replace their full-time income. So it
Yeah.
really just depends on what your goals are, but get them down on paper and figure out what they are and set up a plan to achieve that,
So I
for
know I
sure.
think we talked about how didn't used to be, well, albeit there was less information, it wasn't as competitive back then as it is now. So
Right.
a new seller that's coming on now, do you think it's feasible for them to start with 500 to $1,000 when going into Amazon FBA?
That's a really tricky question because 'cause I've never been there in that,
Yeah.
position. It really depends too, I think, on how you're sourcing.
Mhm.
You would know better with me than OA, but my margins are a lot smaller. Where if you were just sticking to RA and you were in one of these places that had massive amounts of stores,
Mhm.
like if you're in Texas and you have all those Walmarts around you,
Yeah, which I
yeah,
am.
you could probably start with less money, but, like, I'm in Michigan and we don't have that, so I have to drive really far, so I would have to put in more money now than I did then to
Yeah.
make any kinda dent on progress.
I do think if you're just starting with 500 to $1,000, it would benefit you to RA at first and
For
merchant
sure.
build. So not
Yeah.
only are you getting the sales, or you're not competing with much people, you're also getting
Mhm.
into the prep center as fast as possible so you can flip your money ASAP.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I do think with $500,000, you can still start. I mean, success is subjective.
Yep.
It's, I mean, like what you were saying,
Absolutely.
are you trying to just pay your car payment, or are you trying to make this a full-time job?
Yep.
You're trying to make your full-time job and you just have $500 to spend, 1,000, it's
It's
probably
gonna
not
be
gonna play.
slow.
It's gonna be slow. Yeah, as
Yeah.
long as you're patient, but, and you're determined, and you're disciplined to be consistent and not
Yep.
overspend, or,
Yeah, and
um
then if you're trying to get any kind of, like, softwares or leads list, and if that's coming out of that 500, no way.
yeah,
That will ever
yeah.
work.
I think overall though, like I see a lot of new sellers that come on to sell on Amazon and thinking they're going to be really like successful overnight and rich overnight. And again, I always
No.
think that's coming from information that they're receiving from like those disingenuous sellers,
Yep,
who are just
100%. Yeah.
appeasing to their emotions, and that's kind of not what's going to be like. It takes a lot
No.
of. How long do you think you were meticulously spending on learning Keepa and sourcing in those stores?
Oof, I'm still learning Kiba.
Yeah,
There's so many things to
yeah,
learn
yeah,
about
I
in
know.
Kiba.
Right.
I still struggle sometimes with overanalyzing.
Yeah, I do too.
So, I mean, I'm just one of those people where it's like, I'm afraid to put money into anything, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Where
yeah,
sometimes I feel like the ones that are willing to throw money at the wall, like, they sometimes do better at the beginning because they
yes.
are willing to take so many risks.
See, I'm a
Um,
very formulaic person, so, like, Keepa, you can try your best to derive some sort of formula off the graphs, but there's so much going on, it's so
so
nuanced
much.
that you just can't. I still
Right.
try to, because I feel like if I don't, I'll just get trapped in the analysis
Yep.
paralysis as well. So if you can
Yes.
find some sort of science when you're looking at Keepa, it could save you some time, and at the end of the day, it's just, trial and error,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
You have
Yep.
some data points that will, help you out, but at the end of the day, the best data is your own data, right?
Yep.
So,
Oh, 100%. And I just feel like the more you become familiar with, especially a niche, if you can niche down the
mhm,
brands and
yes,
the products, I mean,
yes.
you don't even have to look at Keepa because you've sold that item so many times, you know it moves.
And then it goes back to if you're only starting with 500, $1,000, you have to be kind of uh, reasonable. If you have $500 and you buy, I don't know, 4 Nike shoes, that's almost
Right.
still $500,
Yeah.
So,
They better
uh,
sell.
yeah, yeah, they better sell, right?
Right.
But then see, you can keep it safe and just merchant fulfill, at least that way, you
Yeah.
can hold on to it. You're not paying inventory fees and whatnot. So,
Yep. It's a different landscape now. It just has changed a lot. So,
okay. So my final question on Amazon, they're going to move on to Walmart. What is a message or advice that you can give to new sellers that you don't see being discussed in the Amazon community?
hmm. Don't I guess for me, don't look at the orange bars that everyone is posting.
Oh yeah.
Use I mean, it's motivation, but that is not the entire story. I know plenty of people that are selling hundreds of thousands a month and their margins are itty bitty.
Yes.
You you find somebody to follow that you can relate to, that maybe is at that level that you're trying to be. Don't overshoot right away. Be realistic. It's really easy to kind of get intimidated. I guess I do, when you see those bars because 'cause you're like, "What am I doing wrong?" You're
Yes.
not doing anything wrong. You just might not be doing the same volume or have the same capital or have the same shoppers. A lot of those people have shoppers that shop for them. If
Mhm.
you're just this one person that's trying to get all of this inventory on your own, have grace, you know?
Right.
So, just take it one step at a time and like I said, motivation, but don't compare yourself. That's not normal. There's hundreds of sellers out there that are doing $20,000 months and they're happy and they love it and they have a great work balance. So,
Right.
work-life balance.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just success is objective to what your goals are when you
Very
start.
much.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
And just to speak to what you're saying, that's why it's so important also to get something like Seller Board or something that so you
Yeah.
actually know your numbers. I
See
think
it.
that's what
Mhm.
kind of screwed me after like my first few months is I didn't have some sort of like system where I could actually see my P&L, where we
Oh,
can
yeah.
actually see if you're actually making money on these products rather than just looking at
Mhm.
your own orange bars because your own orange
Yes.
bars can be deceiving.
Exactly. And it's amazing how many people don't know their numbers, and it's
Yes.
scary. You could be losing money every month and you have no idea.
Right, right. Especially those like like those small detailed fees that Amazon takes out that you don't know because
There's so
you can
many.
spend it and be like, okay, I spent this much. It'll cost this much to sell it. It'll be this much for the fees. But then there's all these other fees that you don't even
Mhm.
know about. And then if you don't know it, then you don't know if you're actually
Yep.
making money and you keep buying the same product over and over again, thinking,
Yep.
oh, I'll make 30%. No, it's actually like 8% after all the
Yeah.
yeah.
Review your numbers at the end of the month. Review what sold and what was returned. Watch your returns.
hmm
Pay
I
attention
actually
to that.
the best thing I did was I hired a bookkeeper. It's a VA. It's a Philippine
Sure.
bookkeeper, and he basically just I had to get what's that software that everyone uses for QuickBooks.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I use
So I have
Pension,
Quick
but
he
yeah.
made me he had me get QuickBooks, but it was great because I connect all my
Nice.
banks there and
Yeah.
everything pulls up, and he's able to just get on there and just, um, I guess, evaluate all my costs, and I do have to tell him sometimes what who is this, what is this charge and
Sure.
whatnot, but for the
Yeah.
most part, it's pretty hands off, and he just kinda gives me the numbers at the end of each month, and that way,
Yep.
Sellerboard will tell you one thing, and Sellerboard's pretty accurate, but your actual numbers from your bank is,
Yeah.
accurate, right? You want those
Yep.
numbers,
And all
so
your other costs that go into it. Are you
right.
driving all over the city? I mean,
Yes.
gas isn't free.
Right,
So,
and your supplies, like the
yep.
boxes, tape,
Yes.
and labels and whatnot, things like
Yep.
that
Mhm.
also gets accounted for, right? And that's something you don't really
Definitely.
take into account when you're just looking at your, extension, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's not the whole story, like I said, so
Okay, is there anything else you wanna, mention for as far as Amazon, goes before we move on to Walmart?
I don't think so. Amazon I mean, I've loved Amazon. It's brought me to where I am today, but, as a seller, I also think that you need to kinda keep your ears and eyes open for other opportunities too, because there are
Yeah.
maybe you're not crushing Amazon, but eBay over here is working for you. Then focus on eBay. Just do what works for you.
More than that, and this is gonna sound a little bit morbid, but I saw a post, today that said, "The goal on Amazon is scale, then survive."
It's there's some truth to that.
Yeah,
Feels
but
that
I
way
do
sometimes.
I do like the fact that you're diversifying with Walmart because now, well, not only diversifying, you're going like full head steam to Walmart, right?
Oh yeah, that's
Are
my
you?
baby right now.
Is more sales there than Amazon at this point,
Uh,
or not yet?
so it's different with Walmart. We're building, we're maybe half.
Okay.
Um, but the profit margins are better on Walmart. The volume
Yes.
is obviously on Amazon. So if
Right.
you're a volume seller, you're not going to enjoy Walmart. But if you're willing to take less sales but higher profit margins, there's a lot of opportunity on the Walmart marketplace.
Okay, and then we're just gonna keep transitioning with Walmart in this way.
Sure.
So the volume, that's interesting. You're right. And that's it's not science to
Yeah.
know that much more sales are going on Amazon than Walmart.
Yep.
I have found that it's much slower, and like I told you, it's only the things that have been FBM already on Amazon that I've been selling on Walmart.
Sure.
So it sounds like you're actually buying with the intent to sell on Walmart.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
tell me about how you gather data to source these products for Walmart, because I don't think I have heard of an extension called Martyr, right? That
Mhm.
is a quote unquote deal analyzer or listing analyzer on Walmart listings, but I don't know how they're doing that. I think they're using information reviews or something like that to get the sales per day. So tell me about how you
Yes.
analyze
So
listings.
Walmart does not share their data, their
Okay. There's no
API, they keep all that close to the chest. So
right.
the software companies that are out there, you've got Martyr, Dataspark,
Mhm.
Wally Smarter, all of these
I have heard Wally.
softwares. Yeah. So they are basing their calculations on site impressions. Some use Amazon sales, some are using reviews. So whatever their calculation might be, they're giving you an idea of sales trends and how often it sells. So you
Which
kind
are
of have
good data points. Yeah.
yeah, they are,
Mhm.
but they're not accurate like Keepa.
Right.
So nobody
Yeah.
has the information like Keepa does.
There's no BSR essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Walmart has them, but they also include in-store sales. So it's a different beast. So if you're used to selling on Amazon and you live by Keepa, you're going to feel pretty uncomfortable over on Walmart.
Very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Walmart is very much a test buy. We do so many test buys on Walmart. So eventually you collect your own data.
You have to.
Even with
Yeah.
things like gating,
Yeah.
Walmart's not going to tell you until you list it and it airs out. So it's a
Right.
slow process to start, but once you have enough data, you can make your own logical buying decisions and you just keep doing what's working.
Okay.
I guarantee you'll have some success.
Okay. So it sounds like you don't have a tool that you use to analyze.
Nope.
Okay.
My VAs use Wally Smarter. We always just have, but again, we take it with a grain of salt. So I look
Okay.
at reviews.
Mhm.
Um, when I scan something for Walmart, I'm going to look at reviews and see how many reviews have happened in like the last year. And are they promotional reviews? Were they gained from a promotion or are they organic real reviews?
And it says
So
on there? It says if it's
Yep.
promoted?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, it'll say it right in there. And
Okay.
then the other thing is I'm gonna look for third-party sellers to see, is anyone already selling this? If they are they selling it seller fulfilled or WFS? In
Okay.
order to send products WFS, most of us sellers have to already know that it's gonna move because you're sending it in to sit
Right.
there, right? You're not
Right.
gonna send something and pay storage fees if it's not moving.
Okay.
So, you have to kinda use all of those clues to make a good choice as to whether you're gonna try it.
So you're saying that if there's another seller out there who's, prudent enough to send it into Walmart, it's probably selling on Walmart
Yep,
or WFS,
right.
right? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe they already did the test buy. So they
Exactly.
already did the hard
Yep.
work for
I'm
you.
still gonna do my test
Yeah.
buy, but at least I know I'm gonna pick it up or buy it at that point and try it.
So it sounds like instead of spending money on a subscription, it's much more advantageous of your money to just test buy,
Oh,
because
yeah.
that that software is also doing its own estimation,
Yep.
right?
I mean,
Okay.
they're helpful. They're
Yeah.
definitely helpful. Martyr has some great features where it tells you how many items are in stock, with those other sellers because you
Okay.
can't see that on Walmart. So that's super helpful. I've found that to be accurate. But I have an item that Martyr tells me is selling 70 times a month. I've had it for 3 months and it hasn't sold once.
Okay.
So again, you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt and just do your own test buys. It's the safest, so you're not wasting money.
So I think the three you mentioned, because I'm kind of new to the extensions as well, as Wally
Sure.
Smarter,
Mhm.
Martyr. What was the third one?
Data Spark.
Data Spark. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So it sounds like you have managed to scale, right? It sounds like you have found some ace or not ASINs, but items on Walmart that you found that do volume, and now you've just been replaying those items? Is that how you've been able to scale so far?
Pretty much. I still do a lot of RA for Walmart, so I
Okay.
have a lot of items that aren't, replenishable because I'm doing
Okay.
clearance buys.
Okay.
So I still very much send in brand new stuff all of the time, but
Mhm.
I do have some items where I can purchase them in bulk, so I do that.
Okay. So, as far as Walmart goes with Amazon, can you tell me about your sales? Are you doing more in sales than Amazon? I think I asked you this already, but can you
No,
clarify?
yeah, every month is different. Like the
Yeah.
last month I was at 40,000 for
Mhm.
Walmart.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I mean, last Q4 I had $90,000 months.
So you're pretty damn close. It
Yeah,
sounds like.
I'm
Yeah.
getting there,
Yeah.
but it's just consistency, making sure everything is sent in every week. So restocking can be difficult on Walmart. They don't really have a great way to tell you what needs restocking or what you're out of. So like I'm working
Yeah.
with my VA right now to kind of focus in on that so that I can replen what's working.
As opposed
Um,
to Amazon who will spam your inbox.
yes.
Right.
They're very clear about what they want you to send more of. So,
Right. Right.
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And speaking of the differences in the WFS with how do we say it? Merchant fulfilled Walmart.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
uh,
seller fulfilled. Mhm.
what has yielded higher sales velocity? Intuitively, it would be the Walmart fulfillment center, right? But since it is very different than Amazon, what's your experience with Walmart fulfillment centers versus the Amazon fulfillment centers?
So in theory, it should be more sales with WFS because the buy box will always be awarded to a WFS seller if they're competitive on price.
Which it
So
has, yeah.
as a WFS seller, you're going to get the buy box.
Okay.
Um, but what I
Mhm.
have really found is that it's item specific. So I have some items that will fly seller fulfilled and they'll sit WFS and vice versa. So again, I know I say it a lot and it's annoying, but you have to test everything.
Right. And I think I commented this on your Facebook group that I have a product that it was doing great, merchant fulfilled. And I was like, this does great merchant fulfilled. Also does great on Amazon, merchant fulfilled and FBA. I think it would make sense to send 50 of these in. I sent 50 of them in. I think it's
Oh
been,
no.
well, it's okay. It's been like 47, 48 days and it's only two sold. But
See, there's
yeah.
no way anybody's going to tell you that that's going to happen.
Right.
There's
And
no
I
way.
and I and I also mentioned like context to it is I don't think Walmart has much fulfillment centers as Amazon. So maybe
Sure.
I live in Texas, maybe there's more of a demand of that item in Texas.
I didn't even know
But
you were in Texas and I use that as an example. It's
yeah, yeah.
funny.
But and I essentially sent it away from Texas. As I don't know where it's from. Well, I guess I do. I can't remember what the address was, but it was somewhere to the north. And now whoever's FBMing it here is probably getting those sales from these people here.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
and I'm sure as Walmart grows, it'll probably have more fulfillment centers
Yeah.
down the road as well.
Definitely.
Okay, so actually, this is a question I wanted to ask you on Amazon. So I want to ask you, and you tell me your Amazon story, and then you also tell me your
Okay.
Walmart story. What
Okay.
is the most tumultuous time that you had on Amazon, whether that be like an IP complaint or authenticity that you couldn't
Oh,
get off your account health, or just some sort of nightmare that you had? And tell me how you overcame it, assuming you overcame
oh
it.
man. Where do I start? No, I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
So I had a situation, it was about 2 years ago, it was in November. I
Mhm.
sell a lot of beauty. These were Mac products, and many Mac products were actually branded as Mac Auto Parts.
Okay. Oh, I've
And
seen some of those.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it was in November 2 years ago, and all at once, I got all of these taken down. So there were like 40 ASINs that all of a sudden I had, IP complaints on. So I don't know how my account didn't get shut down at that
Yeah.
moment. It
Yeah.
didn't.
Wow.
But, these were also ASINs that I had sold multiple items, multiple sales. So luckily, I worked with Riverbend at the time, and they were able to kind of walk me through each one, but the collecting of the receipts and I mean, we're
Oh,
talking
there were
hundreds.
receipts because you were RAing.
Yeah,
Oh,
receipts.
man.
So it's yeah.
That's even more stressful because you're not sure if they're gonna accept those receipts.
Yep, for sure. So that was just and it was Q4. I mean, it's November, right? Who has time to mess with that during Q4? So that
Right.
was an extremely stressful time.
Very
And I
demotivating during Q4 too.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
Oh god. breakdown, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
We got a lot of them cleared, but to this day, some didn't get cleared. And I ended up being gated in those specific shades or whatever it might be. It's
Yeah.
just ridiculous. But that was probably one of the biggest issues for me. It just was a mess. And sometimes you just can't get through to customer service, but you know what I'm saying, whatever
Yeah.
they call them now. But I think that's a huge eye opener too, to have someone on the back burner like Riverbend or Seller
Yeah.
Basics or whoever it might be. If you run into trouble, to have someone to run to,
Right.
it's that, yeah, it was worth every penny for those couple of months to have them on
So,
retainer.
so this is when I was first starting and I was kind of naive. And I didn't realize when you're buying on Walmart, in my defense, I think it was a VA that sourced it, but I didn't realize when you buy from Walmart, you got to make sure it's shipped and sold by Walmart, you know?
Yeah, you're buying it from me.
Yeah, buying it from you or someone in China, right? And that's kind
Exactly.
of what
Yeah.
happened.
Oh
Is apparently
no.
this item was, in hindsight, it was probably too good to be true to buy that item anyways. But I didn't really know beauty products back then, and I didn't think people made fake beauty products. That's the thing. I
And we learn quick.
thought it was just shoes. Anyways, I submitted so many like invoices with like
Oh.
Walmart on it, and they kept rejecting it. Amazon, they won't tell you why a lot of
Nope.
times. They'll say it's confidence sensitive information.
Yeah.
One of them finally told me, "Hey, dude, this is not from Walmart. This is from a seller on Walmart. Get the invoice from the seller." It's like, all right, perfect. I go and reach out to the seller on Walmart. Banned. The dude is banned on
Of
Walmart.
course he is. Yeah.
Oh, I was like, "Oh, I'm screwed." So that was like the
Oh,
first that was the first one that I had to actually acknowledge. And he
that
the
hurts.
the account specialist told me something important. I was like, "If I'm acknowledging it, am I essentially admitting guilt that I sold something that was counterfeit?" And he was saying, "No, it's just saying that, albeit it could have been authentic, you just didn't have enough documents to prove." And I was like, "Okay." So this is
Interesting.
like, I'm not guilty, but I'm going ahead and, doing
That's
30
the
days in
worst.
jail.
Oh, yep.
Hell.
Same. Yep.
Okay. So tell me about a similar. Now you probably don't have as much stories, or
Oh,
not,
I
maybe not.
do.
Oh, with Walmart?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Shoot. Go ahead.
My biggest issue with Walmart. Oh God. So I was trying out a new software,
Okay.
and this would have been a year and a half ago. And I was just getting back into Walmart. I was really pumping my sales and tried this new software, which was a cross lister. So it would cross list from your platforms to sell on Walmart.
Oh,
And
process like from Amazon to Walmart kind of thing?
yeah, using their multi-channel fulfillment services,
Oh, okay.
which technically we're allowed.
Okay.
But what happened was with Amazon and Walmart, one of the things with Walmart that drives me crazy is there's lots of listings that are not actually tied to the correct UPC. So on Amazon, you might have a bottle of lotion, and if you take that same UPC over to Walmart and use it, it could be a Squishmallow.
But
So
Amazon also doesn't have all the correct UPCs per item.
right, but they're cleaning it up, so they're
Okay.
getting better. So think of generic, like
Okay.
generic,
Gotcha.
ASINs on Amazon.
Okay.
So basically what was happening is I had all these orders and the orders were flying. People were buying lotion and getting Squishmallows. So I had to cancel and people were refunding and my account basically blew up and they shut me down.
On Walmart.
Um,
On
on
Walmart.
Walmart. Yep.
You were fine on Amazon. Those are accurate, but the
Yep.
UPCs were not matching on Walmart.
Yep,
Gotcha.
and I was on spring break with my family, we were at
Oh,
Disney World. So I couldn't do
you're over here.
anything, like, I'm trying to have fun with my kids, and I'm so stressed out because I just lost my Walmart account, and I had just started, like, really
Oh,
moving volume over there, and
they told you that it was done while you were
yeah,
there?
yeah.
Lord.
Yep. So, I had to work with Walmart, do the whole POA, wait for them to approve me. It took about 3 weeks, and they finally, after 2 appeals, they accepted it and turned my account back on. And then because my metrics were so bad, I got a bot kicked me out again. I got shut down again for a whole nother, it was like 5 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks.
Mm.
Ugh,
So you got back in, but then you got auto gated or auto banned because of your metrics when you came back in.
yes.
Lord have mercy. Yeah.
Yeah. So by then I knew how to do a POA and I did it myself, but the first time I had to, hire help because I didn't know what I was doing. It's
Right.
all new.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my stressful story for Walmart. So
Okay. So
don't cancel orders.
yeah, yeah. So speaking of stressful stories, then I've noticed I got a intellectual property complaint and on Walmart, and it was for intellectual property complaint that I got on Amazon that I took down. I noticed I didn't have to submit anything on Walmart. So is that when you get an inauthenticity or an IP complaint on Walmart, how do you submit appeals? Is it similar to Walmart or Amazon, or is it different?
Did your item just go to error, and then when you clicked on error, it said it was an IP?
Air?
You know how like on your in your catalog, it'll
Uh,
say whether your item is published,
oh,
unpublished, or error. It's
so I
red.
got an email first, right? And it
Okay.
said they have to take it down. Then when I went over to my inventory, my catalog, it did say error.
Okay.
Huh?
So those are like IP, they're more like a catalog IP. So
Okay.
across the board, so anybody that had that got that notification to take it down. They just won't let you sell it.
Yes.
Right now there's no process to go through to like provide anything like Amazon does.
But I will say it was definitely the brand definitely initiated the IP
Oh,
complaint.
I
Yeah.
have no doubt on that.
Because I know for a fact because they had just done it to me on Amazon. And because Walmart will tell you who initiated the
Yes.
and it wasn't the brand, it was the enforcement uh company that the brand hired, right?
Sure. Yep.
Um okay, so Walmart is essentially assuming responsibility for intellectual property complaints then or
So I don't know what their background process is, but I've yet to be contacted with anything like that. And you don't really have an account health per se like we
yeah.
do. There is a section where you can go in and see what might be on hold or what your IP issues might be, but I haven't run into too many of those. I've noticed in the last like month or two, brands are starting to jump on that a little bit more. I think as more
Yeah.
sellers jump over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what are some disadvantages that you would say selling on Walmart in respect to Amazon? I know we kind of mentioned some of them, but
Data is going to be the first for sure.
lack of data essentially
Lack of
on
data.
Walmart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then volume.
Yeah.
I feel like Walmart's definitely growing. They're really pushing their online sales. So I
Yeah.
think we're going to continue to
Mhm.
see an increase in traffic on Walmart.com. But
Mhm.
right now, the volume is definitely on Amazon.
Okay.
Um, and then sometimes Walmart's just frustrating.
Yeah.
For no other reason than they're just behind the times.
Right.
Everything doesn't flow like it does on Amazon. Adding items and giving them the same information that they already have, but we still have to provide it again, like size, weight, where it was manufactured, things like that. It's annoying, but you
Right.
have to do it on every single item when you convert to WFS. So
Okay. Okay. So as far as like how there's sourcing methods like Amazon to Amazon, for Walmart, do you do things like Walmart to Walmart and do you even also buy on
absolutely,
Amazon and sell on Walmart?
I do. Yep.
Okay.
I use my Amazon business account to flip on Walmart. I go into the Walmart store and I buy items on clearance and flip them on Walmart. I have items that I buy regular priced on Walmart's website and flip them back on Walmart.
Okay, so hold on. So I know when you're buying on Amazon and you're selling it on Walmart, do you buy the products on Amazon on your business account? No, or like it's your personal account, right? That you actually buy the
Well,
product.
it really depends if you want to pay tax. So, like your business account, you're not paying tax. So, I can, like,
Oh,
if I'm doing regular flips, I
I
just
see.
use my business account because I don't want to pay tax on those things.
Okay.
Um,
So you have to you created an Amazon business account. So this is
yep,
separate. So you have your Amazon FBA account, you have your personal account, then you have your Amazon business account.
correct. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
Same
So
account I would use to flip back on Amazon, my business
uh,
account.
so if you have an Amazon business account from any state, you pay everything tax free. Is that what you're saying?
Yep, if it's registered. Yep, just same as
Oh,
like your Walmart account if you're tax
okay.
free with Walmart.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So then how about Walmart to Walmart? Do you buy from a personal Walmart account or do you buy because I have Prime, I have Walmart Prime, or is it called Prime?
W plus,
W Plus.
Walmart
Sorry.
plus.
Yeah. W
Yeah.
Plus. Yeah. There's no
Um,
way they call it Prime. That's
I know.
copyright is out,
No.
right? Yeah.
So you have to be careful with the W plus account because they flat out say you can't resell these products.
Uh,
And I've been shut down twice using a W plus account to flip on Amazon back in the day. So
how do they find out that you bought it with what
you're
W?
ordering volume, consistent volume. Yeah,
Oh,
that triggers.
interesting.
So if you're
Volume
doing
like
it with
what 12? It's only the max is 12. Is that the
yeah.
volume?
Well, yes, but you can do back-to-back orders on Walmart.
Oh,
So,
okay,
if you're
gotcha.
doing that, huge red flag. So I don't use that to
Uh-huh,
flip on Walmart. I just
uh-huh.
use my business Walmart. So I have an account on walmart.com that I've registered as tax exempt.
Okay.
So I'm not paying tax. So I buy on that one and then flip back on my Walmart sellers account.
Okay. Amazon business to Walmart sellers, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, I want to jump back over. So, what if you have a non-Walmart Plus account, you can still buy up to 12, right? And
Yeah.
back to back, but
Yep.
they just can't hold it against you.
Right. And then that's the one I have my tax exempt under. So I'm not paying tax.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
If you have a W Plus account and you shop in store,
Yeah.
you can do that. They don't care.
Mhm.
And then you can also do the shop and scan and then go to the self checkout and do your tax free. So
And you're saying that you did get shut down because they found out you were buying from Walmart Plus and selling it.
Walmart seller didn't shut me down.
Oh.
Walmart Plus was like, nope,
Ah,
you're not going to be a member anymore because you're
okay.
reselling
That's
the
not as bad.
products. Yeah,
That's not as bad. You can just make another
twice.
account.
So I've just had to start new accounts, but
Yes, yes.
so
Okay.
no, I don't use Walmart Plus online.
It's almost like, is it worth it just to do it until you get banned? Because that Walmart Plus is pretty beneficial.
Sometimes.
It's pretty
Yes,
beneficial.
you got to decide.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna ask some concluding questions here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So a new seller who wants to start selling online, would they choose to sell on Amazon or Walmart in 2024?
I still think Amazon,
Okay.
as a
And
new
why?
seller because of all the data that's available to you.
Right.
If you don't have a lot of capital to work with, then you definitely don't want to be buying products that aren't going to sell. And with Walmart, you wouldn't know until you tested it.
Right. And if you have, especially if you don't have that much money too, it sounds like a lot of it's going to go to test buys. And,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
instead, get Keepa for sure and get a,
Yep.
listing analyzer like BuyBot Pro or Rev
Yep.
Seller, which you don't absolutely need, but as a new seller, it might be helpful. It's only like $20 a month.
Oh,
Most
yeah.
of
I
the month,
think the
right?
calculator function alone, just to know all the
Calculator
fees,
alone.
is worth it.
Right. Right. And the
Yeah.
export and stuff like that.
Yes.
But you're right. You're right. I think the abundant amount of information that's out there, it does not. There's not the same amount to Walmart as there is at Amazon.
Not
So
even a sliver. No.
okay, okay. And then when you first start selling on Amazon, would you say that if you have just $500,000, is it still worthwhile to even start?
I think it's always worth it to start.
Mhm.
We never know what the next crisis could be around us. I mean, I hate to say that, but like who knew the pandemic was going to happen and look at the opportunity for anyone that already had their account and knew how to sell on Amazon. You never know, right? What's around the corner or Amazon might open the floodgates and let you sell everything. You never know. So I feel like having that account, even
Mm,
if you're not scaling to the moon every single month, making a little bit of income helps your bottom line.
right,
Like I said, not everybody wants to replace their income. They might just want to save for vacation,
right.
who knows? So it's an opportunity. If you're looking to be in e-commerce, I think it's more than worth it to be in Amazon.
So based on how much sellers have jumped on Amazon listings and how saturated it's gotten, do you think in 2025, 2026, where do you see the platform or Amazon going?
Wow, that's a loaded question.
It is. It is. I'm trying
um,
to be a psychic right now.
golly. So I think if you can stay the pace and keep your account clean, follow Amazon's rules, I still think there's going to be third party sellers in 2025, 2026 moving forward. I mean,
Mhm.
they make so much money off of us and
Yes, they'd be fool not to.
exactly. We provide their customers with so much service. I just
Yeah,
don't think they're going to turn it off completely. Is it
right,
going to get harder? Yeah, no doubt.
right,
But again, understand what TOS says and follow the rules, and I think
right.
you'll be okay.
I don't know the numbers, but I know. Is it over 50 or less than 50% that they make money off of third party sellers?
Oh, I think it's way over 50
But
now.
it's
Yeah.
over 50, and we're also helping them out because there's a lot of brands that do not want to sell on Amazon. They want to have a close
Yeah.
relationship with their customers.
Yep.
And so here comes us who does that for them without them having
Yep.
to actually do it, So
Yep.
I think they look at that as a huge opportunity with us as well.
Yep.
It's, as much as Amazon, we want to think it's a mutual benefit. I think Amazon looks at it as we benefit the most between this relationship. So we're going to keep this going.
Yep.
I do know this previous summer, they stopped accepting applications, right?
I didn't know that.
It was either this summer or 2023. They opened it
Really?
back up in October. I want to say 2023, but they
Wow. I didn't know that at all.
stopped it for 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, that was insane.
Interesting.
Mhm. You know, I think it got to a point where I think during that, remember that section, what is it called? The section 3?
Section 3.
I think when that was going on, I think they stopped it just so they can get that out
You
of the
know,
way.
now that you mentioned that, it kinda
Yeah,
does sound familiar,
it
but
would make
there were
sense.
some issues going on that they had to clean up the sellers. There were some sellers doing some not
Right.
so right stuff.
But they're probably getting so many calls, like, they had to have
Mhm.
their account specialist, adhere to the calls because 'cause they're keeping
Yeah,
hiring more people on. They're not gonna have enough staff. So,
yeah, for sure.
okay.
Definitely.
And then okay, so, I'm gonna conclude this with one last question. One last
Sure.
question. Okay. So yourself, what are your goals by 2025, 2026? Whether that's going full time on Walmart by then and being done with Amazon, or do you want to still have like a 50-50 kind of business going?
Wow. So this is something I think a lot about.
Yeah.
Now that my kids are getting older, to be
Mhm.
honest, I want to be more free,
Right.
and do as much online as I can. So a lot of the RA, I don't think it'll be in my future. Having the warehouse still, I don't think will be in my future. Um, I would like to grow Walmart as much as I possibly can, but I also I definitely see myself kind of coasting on Amazon per
Mhm.
se, and maybe really just taking advantage of Q4,
Right.
and not
Back
really
to
worrying
school.
about the numbers the rest of the year.
Okay.
But I'm really getting into, Amazon influencer program and UGC and all of that. So I like to diversify. We do liquidation too. So there's a lot going on in my world. It's
Mhm.
not just Amazon and Walmart. So my future would be as much as I can online, and grow with Walmart as much as I can.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I think it's just diversifying as much
Yep.
as I can just so nothing, extreme happens and then my business
Yep.
isn't totally shut down. Speaking
Yes.
of AIP, I for some reason got shut down on that today, so that was weird. I'm trying
Oh,
to
no.
apparently you're not allowed to show your logo on anything, like not your logo, sorry, Amazon's logo. And I have a lot of my thumbnails that have the Amazon logo.
Oh, like on your actual videos.
But it's weird because
Oh,
I already
okay.
got approved. So I got
Hmm.
approved and then they went back and I guess they did a review or something. I'm not sure.
Oh, I
But
haven't heard of that. I mean,
I did reach out. I reached out to their support. So we'll see how if I can get
hopefully
that.
they'll just let you remove those logos.
Yeah. I mean it's a lot of thumbnails.
It's
A lot of thumbnails and
oh,
it's a lot of
no.
shorts that I've had like the Amazon thing kind of pop out. So they gave me some
Oh,
samples and I'm just like, but that's ridiculous because there's so many people with videos that have like the Amazon thing pop out for like a few seconds, and it's not like I'm
wow.
selling.
I don't edit my videos that much to,
Oh,
have that extra
yeah.
stuff.
I guess I'm getting punished for trying to be creative. All right.
Yeah. Well, that does stink. If I do TikTok Shop at all or TikTok affiliate or anything like that?
No, I think I'm gonna try. Okay, I've gone through so much
That's
stuff with
huge.
Amazon seller, right? That I'm gonna try to fight this and get back in the AIP because I
Good.
just gotten to 42 videos. It wasn't a lot. It's not like I wasted my time totally, but it
Yeah.
was still a decent amount of videos. So
Sure, sure,
yeah,
and it all adds up.
yeah. What did you say? TikTok shop?
Affiliate, yeah.
What is that similar to AIP?
Yeah, so once you get to a certain amount of followers, you can do the whole, review brands,
Oh, on
and
TikTok.
then they give you referral links, so you're making a commission on every sale.
Are there a lot of buyers on TikTok though? I feel like TikTok
Yes.
is there? Okay. I always feel
Oh
like
my god.
most people on TikTok don't have a credit card yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, mm-mm.
Really? Okay.
Look into it.
Is that the UCG? What was
U
UCG?
UGC. Yeah, the user-generated content? Yeah.
What is that? That's TikTok?
Well, that's on anything, so you can
Oh,
create it's basically what you do for Amazon Influencer, you're making videos for a brand,
uh-huh.
essentially. You
IG.
can do that across many other platforms.
I see. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, Sarah, I want you to go ahead and, tell the viewers where they can find you, your Instagram, your socials, and all that good stuff.
Okay. I do most of my posting on Instagram. It's arbitrage.avenue.
Mhm.
I'm on Twitter, but I don't do too much over there. And I just started a Facebook group for Walmart sellers specifically to kind of answer those questions that everyone has. And it's the Walmart Sellers Network.
Yeah, that's a great group. I joined it as well.
Thank you. I've
So that
never,
just when did
we'll
that
see,
start? When did that start exactly, officially?
it's almost been 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay. I joined, I think 3 days ago, 4 days ago.
Yay.
Uh,
Well,
so,
thanks.
yeah. You think there's already a lot of people in there?
Yeah, there's
Right?
about 300.
Yeah,
I think
wow.
I think people have questions about Walmart. Oh, I do Walmart, content on YouTube. I just started, so
Nice.
Arbitrage Avenue.
What's your YouTube channel?
Arbitrage Avenue. Everything's
Okay.
Arbitrage Avenue because I do
Okay.
all the things.
And if you're watching this, I'll make sure I'll tag all the
Thank you.
relevant social platforms in the description. So the
Appreciate
Facebook
that.
group, you have your Instagram at, and then you have the new YouTube channel. It's gonna be all Walmart content.
So I've had it for a few months, but it is
Okay.
all mostly Walmart content because that's what I'm focusing on right now. So as
That'll
I
be
learn, I try to share what I've learned.
yeah, yeah. And I think I don't know how much Amazon content's on YouTube, so that might be a good niche to like produce videos for too.
I'm
No,
trying.
you're not
People
competing.
have legitimate questions and you
Yeah.
can't Walmart's not the best resource for those. So
Right. Right. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much, Sarah, for
Oh,
coming on.
thank
I
you for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
I've been wanting to pick your brain. You're a huge plethora of information. So,
Thank you.
congratulations on all your success, and I'm
Thank
sure
you.
everything will work out for you with everything else.
I really appreciate your time. Thanks for having me on. It's been fun.
Yes, ma'am.